I've seen a big increase in the sales of LM7s going into Landies, generally the 110, a few Discos 1 and 2. Brilliant car, iconic, but it's a sludge pump and it's old, so you're either hell-bent on wanting to go better and faster, or you're quite content with the way they are. At the moment, behind me, we're just developing a complete, from front, the radiator, right to the back, a complete bolt-in kit. So the guy will literally come to me, engine, rad, mounts, transfer case mounts, everything. Put it in there, including exhaust system. We're developing that as well. So it'll be basically a whole turnkey package. Have a car, come to me, collect everything, put it all in, and we're here to help you all the way through the project. WhatsApping you pictures and that, assistance on the phone. That to me is the most important, is the technical support after you've purchased the product. No point just saying, hey, there you are, you're on your own. To me, the after service and the assistance is probably more important than trying to sell you something. Generally the truck orientated motor as opposed to the car, the muscle car orientated. The truck ones, yeah, fine, the car does more horsepower, fine. But the horsepower and the torque are high in your RPM range. You're not going to scream around in the bush at high RPM range. You want something low down, which is why my engines, 90% of them are from trucks. The torque is at the bottom end, the horsepower is at the bottom end, it has good pulling power. And again, massive increase in the Landies. I'm beginning to also dabble with the Land Cruisers. Yeah, so after the Land Rover one is done, I'll pull a cruiser in and we'll do the same sort of thing. Do a bolt-in kit. So this is an 80 series Toyota Land Cruiser, 94 model, okay, freewheeling front hubs. I wanted a decent engine, and that's why I said I went to the States, bought the first Gen 5 as a tester on myself, sorted the wiring, finished, electrics, all that, not a problem. Computer side of it was also pretty straightforward. Dropped it in over lockdown. There were some advantages to it. So I managed to get it all nice and how it should be. And I've been running around with it for the last couple of months. I've done 6,000 Ks and it is absolutely brilliant. Again, going back to the 6-speed box, to me, is just phenomenal. It's just chalk and cheese from 4 to 6. And then obviously the direct injection. Lots of torque right at the bottom end. 4x4, perfect. The challenges, nothing really. It's a massive engine bay compared to my Hilux, which had an LS1. The Cruiser is big, it's wide and it's long. There were no cramped areas, fans fitted. Engine, not a problem. Even the original cast iron manifolds. A lot of people say, oh, put branches. You only get going 2-3 horsepower and you're going to spend a whole heap of money. No, keep the original ones. They even cleared the chassis rails. So on the Cruiser, it was a doddle. It is a doddle because you have so much room. The only thing I had to make up was the adapter from the 6-speed to the Land Cruiser. A little bit of a head scratch. That was probably, to be honest, that and the wiring were the two complicated bits. The rest of it is just common sense. Nice big alley radiator, hoses and that, power steering is a doddle as well. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's the electrical, but we take care of that for you guys by doing the turnkey options, 4 or 5 wires. You don't need a spark key now. Ignition, rev counter, etc. Turn your key and off you go. All right, here we have my Land Cruiser. Like I said, 95 model, 94, 95 model with the Gen 5 motor inside it. As you can see, it pretty much looks factory. It's a drop-in fit, oodles of room everywhere. Very similar to the Land Rover, air filter and truck stuff going there, ECU over here. This one has a twin battery setup, but you can plainly see there is a lot of room in here for a lot of, compared to other vehicles, a lot of space. On the inside of the vehicle, as you can see, it's close to stock. The only thing that is slightly different is the center console where the shifter, automatic shifter comes out and where the 4x4 shifter comes out. We have to change those positions slightly to suit the transfer case that I've made. Apart from that, it is basically a stock interior. Yeah, fuel consumption, interesting. Now I've had some time to do it, and speaking to other guys with the 6-cylinder diesel and the 6-cylinder petrol, I'm almost on par with their petrol. And look at what horsepower I'm getting. 350 horsepower, 535 Newton meters of torque. Go and find out what the original Land Rover, original Toyota engine does. It's just chalk and cheese. And I promise you, consumption is almost identical. Almost identical. Good thing, it shuts down 4 cylinders on the freeway. If it light cruise, light throttle, it'll actually pull down and go on 4 cylinders, a DOD, displacement on demand, or fuel, active fuel management. They call it either or. And the little V6 that I bought in has the same function. It'll shut 2 cylinders down, so it turns it to a little 4-cylinder. I know some guys, oh, why do you want that? Why not? You know, you're cruising, you're just touching the throttle. You don't need burning all that fuel, and fuel is expensive in this country. That's also another reason why I wanted to go with a newer, more economical engine that will produce more power and will be better on fuel. We've done a couple of Land Rovers in the past, mainly 110s, okay? Again, from the LS1, we're busy. After this one, we're going to be busy putting the LMG, which is again a displacement on demand. It's almost a LM7, slightly, it's a 90mm throttle body. It has 30 horsepower more than the LM7, so it's going to be a lot more awake with a 6-speed box again. Good. And again, this is the one we're developing the whole kit for, the 6-speed as well as the 4-speed. Consumption on that, very similar to what my Cruiser is doing. So yeah, we're trying to cover both Landy and Cruiser at the same time. Here we have a Land Rover 110, one of our examples of the LM7, which you just saw running behind me. Automatic transmission, Land Rover transfer case with my adapter plate that I supply you guys. Turnkey, nice and simple, just like that, off the test bench, literally off the test bench, slotted in here. ECU's tucked away on the side there. The wires run back. It's drive-by-wire, this one. Has advantages. Nice and simple. You don't have to sit around trying to make cables the right length. Same radiator. We've used a 7 Series radiator here. Transmission cooler in the front. It still maintains its aircon, power steering, all of the stuff that should be working still works in there, right down to the original Landy water bottle in the background there. As you can see on this Landy, the customer wanted a little bit of prettiness. He didn't like the coils, so we developed coil covers on both sides with the Chevy logo. As you can see, makes it a lot better than old school horrible coils and wires and everything lying around the place. Working our way to the inside of the car, a couple of options. You can go Landy gauges, video is probably better, they work a little bit more accurate. Shifter, again, you can go for a Disco 1, Disco 2, or some aftermarket B&M or TCI shifter. The 4x4 system still works, so the shifter's moved, but again, that is basically, a lot of that is a customer's decision where he wants and what he wants inside. Give it a quick start, nice and simple. Lovely. Every day on the button. All right, so if we're looking at doing a conversion, give us a shout. You know, we're always here to help. We've done a lot ourselves, from the muscle car to the 4x4s behind me. So somewhere along the line, from the V6 to the V8s, and that includes the Ford Coyotes as well. I've got a couple behind me. I haven't really touched on that. Briefly, I'll touch it on there. It's a F-150 2014 truck, not the car. It's a Coyote engine, but it's a truck version, more torque at the bottom and more horsepower at the bottom. This is quite new, we're still dabbling with it. A little bit expensive, but you know, it's a 2013, 2014 engine, so it is quite new. The ECUs and all that, the wiring we've managed to sort out. They're not as fast moving because it's a very broad engine and they don't fit in a lot of things. Give us a shout, or go onto my website. I've got a bunch of pictures, genuine pictures of what they look like off the container. Obviously we get cleaned up and all that. There's a video of one of our engines running on the website, rocket88.co.za, email, website, rocket88. Have a look.
'Cause I'm so